Welcome everyone to Mailed Fuzz TV News. I am Peter. I'm joined by Connor, and we are going to wade through some of the hopefully interesting things that have happened in the last week or two.
That better be interesting.
There's a couple
Otherwise, what am I doing here?
There's a couple of juicy things. I mean, there's not as many. I was expecting a lot of like new network shows and pilots. I don't know. Maybe it's just the wrong season for that. Maybe it's towards the end of the summer, so it's the bad time for it. But I was surprised with how little of that there was.
I'm okay with that because those tend to be the less interesting things and the things that just make me drink.
Yeah, but you drinking and being made to look a fool is often some of the entertainment that is drawn from this show.
No idea what you're on about.
Yes, we can all hear it. So we'll get into things then. There's not much of a preamble that needs to be done. It is worth mentioning. Connor was reviewing Superman and Lois, still up to the finale, but because that is now done and he's not taking on other new TV shows, it should mean that news is a little more consistent to make happen now. As well as Star Trek, which was also kind of suffering a little bit from other things getting in the way. So those two things should hopefully be a bit more consistent going forward. So, because we think the news is just more fun with two of us rather than
Otherwise, it's just you reading a list of names of casting and
yes,
who cares about that really.
Of course, exactly. So first things first, we got a renewal, but it's also a savior. Netflix stepped in. And there was some buzz about this for a little while, but Manifest, which had 3 seasons somehow, I don't know when those 3 seasons happened. I feel like season 1...
I want to say 3 seasons, allegedly.
Allegedly, yes. But it got cancelled, but immediately it was like, hey, this is actually doing really well on Netflix. Like, people are watching the first couple seasons a lot. So they've announced that they're doing 1 season on Netflix. It is going to be the end of the show, but they're giving it for Netflix, a big season. They're giving it a 20-episode season that will be split into at least 2 parts. But I mean, if you're
been doing with like Lucifer and stuff,
yeah. But if you're a fan of that show, I mean, them getting a 20-episode season to finish their stories sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, this is surprising because I don't know if it was the last episode of this or the one before. Recently on this show, you know, we talked about Netflix and how they've kind of moved away from being the savior of TV shows. It's not really in their model anymore. And then here they are proving me wrong.
Yeah, immediately. I guess this one's just been doing so well streaming numbers wise that they're game for it.
It's clearly worth it for them for at least 1 season.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this case, I think where it's like, okay, there's already 3 seasons. There's X amount of story. And maybe it wasn't. I don't know how big the seasons were for this. This strikes me as something that might have only been 13 per season. But let's say there was a 5-season plan, and they say, no, we'll give you one of 20, and you can make your story fit that. I'm sure they probably like, yeah, sure. It's basically 2 seasons of 10, especially since they're going to split it up. So
it is interesting that this is exactly what happened with Lucifer, where they were like, yeah, this is the last season, and then they're like, hey guys, do you want to make one more?
I've got a feeling that might not happen with this, just because, and I've not seen any of this, but from the trailer for the pilot that I remember from back when, it felt like a show with a mystery that has to have an ending. So this does not strike me as a show where they can just turn around and go, let's do another one. Like it feels like something that's probably going to be pretty done when it's done.
Probably.
Whereas Lucifer, I assume it's like, there's a new mystery or a big bad this season. Lucifer needs to
probably. I don't know. I've not been watching it.
Go be Devil Cop. That's what they called it. They called it Devil Cop. Sounds better. Up there with cinematic excellence such as RoboCop, Samurai Cop, Wolf Cop. BioCop was one that Tara told me about the other day. So, yes. Movies that are something cop, but aren't just straight cop movies, are great.
They're always enjoyable.
Yes.
Not necessarily always good, but they're always enjoyable.
Yes. If it's actually just a straight cop movie, I mean, it might be good because you get good straight cop movies, but that doesn't mean anything. But if it's called something cop and it's not a straight cop movie, it'll probably be gold in one way or another. Emphasis on another.
More often than not, the another.
So that's Manifest. Speaking of Netflix renewing things, they've renewed Cobra Kai for season 5 ahead of the season 4 release. So season 4 is coming soon, and they're already renewed for season 5. This is another one that actually moved from another service. This was YouTube's premium TV.
Short-lived thing.
Yeah, it was YouTube Premium for like a year or two, and then it became free with ads for like 6 months, and then it just kind of. I mean, YouTube Premium still exists as a way to like get rid of ads, but
they are not doing scripted original content anymore.
So yeah, the original content kind of went away. At least the scripted stuff. I don't know. They're probably still doing some non-scripted YouTube
Probably
based
because it's a lot cheaper.
But yeah, so Cobra Kai, which I've heard so many, I probably will give this a try at some point because I've heard so many good things. I grew up with the Karate Kid. I saw the sequels, but the first film really was the one that I saw a lot of growing up, as with most people.
I think the remake's your favorite one.
I haven't seen the remake, I'm afraid. So nice try to upset me, but no. So yeah, what a weird thing to come back and actually be. I mean, I don't want to say good because I've not seen it myself, but certainly well received. I think it's fair to say at this point.
People definitely like it, yeah.
Yeah. So good for it. Good for it. It's I'll check it out at some point. Just a quick thing, Kevin Kneff himself got renewed for season 2 by AMC. Just throw that in there. It's a comedy show that's been on AMC recently. And another quick one is Your Honor got renewed for season 2 by Showtime. This one's just slightly notable because it wasn't actually meant to be an ongoing show. It was a limited series. It was a Bryan Cranston limited series, and basically it did well enough for them that they said, "Hey, Bryan, do you want to come back?" Do season 2?
I vaguely remember seeing the posters advertising it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably at the start of this year. They were on the side of buses and stuff.
Yeah, so it's getting a 10-episode season 2, and Cranston is back for it. So, cool. And that was probably. I mean, I imagine if Cranston said no, they wouldn't do it.
I'm assuming they offered him a decent paycheck.
Oh, yeah, I imagine so. But I'm assuming it was all dependent on that. Like, if they couldn't have Cranston, it was probably just a no-go.
Probably.
Yeah. But he is TV royalty at this point. So, fair play. Fair play. And then some news that I think is very exciting. This is some casting news for season 3 of Stargirl.
Okay.
Basically, some a couple of cast members from season 1 are going to be regulars in season 3.
I saw this. This is good news.
Like, I'm just going to say this. I don't even need them to be villains. I don't need them to do anything else. But if Sportsmaster can just be the dietitian for Pat all season long, I would be very happy.
They were so good.
I still think about him just grabbing that cookie out of his hand and being like, "No, what's this? What's this poison you're putting into you? No, you're allowed water and nothing but."
Yeah, I've obviously not kept up on season 2 just yet. I will get to it shortly, but I'm assuming it's still good.
Episode 3, I think, was the best episode of the season so far. So yes,
good stuff.
Yeah, two didn't click perfectly, but there's some interesting stuff in it.
Okay, and this is Sportsmaster and Tigress. Is the
Sportsmaster and Tigress. Yeah. Also Artemis's parents, which who is still there in the show, and I suspect might have a larger role as this season goes on, and possibly, and if they're coming back, then next season, I would think that even more so, which makes a lot of sense. So, no, very, very cool. There's been no hint of them yet this season. Maybe they'll make an appearance, maybe they won't. But knowing they're coming's cool, and I'm happy about that.
Better late than never.
Yeah, that's just nice. So this will be a nice return of them as well if they are missing all season. That said, though, the guy playing the Shade, I'm quite enjoying. He's so theatrically over the top, like British, and it's really making for some entertainment.
Okay,
for me,
I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah. He's got a top hat and it's
I mean, I should hope so. He's the Shade.
But no, that's good stuff. So that's fun news. And then speaking of CWDC stuff, neither of us watch this anymore, but I thought it was worth mentioning they've cast someone as the Sparrow for season 8.
Okay.
I just think the Sparrow's a cool villain, that's all.
Sure.
Or the Sparrow, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever pronounced it right, to be honest. But you know who I'm talking about.
I do, yeah.
Big red dude with the fin in his head with the one eye. So they've cast Tony Curran, who is very ginger, looking for this photo. So
good.
That's at least a little bit of his head they don't have to paint red. They can just leave that part uncovered.
That's how it works, yeah.
Okay. So I thought it was worth mentioning. And then next up, we got some new shows to talk about. Jamie Presley, who I've not heard that name in a long time. I know her mainly from My Name Is Earl.
Me too, yeah. And that finished a while ago now, and I don't think I've seen her in anything since.
I'm pretty sure I was in high school when that started airing, at least. And only ran 4 seasons, so.
That must have finished in like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 2004 to 2008 or something like that. It was something in there.
That sounds in that range, yeah, mid 2000s for sure.
And she's been in a couple of movies, but I feel like I've seen her in anything in a long time. Maybe she had kids or something. That was like she didn't want to focus on acting. My head canon is that Margot Robbie looks so much like her that she went, screw this, I'm not sharing the screen with this other woman. Mm-hmm. How dare she?
Oh, you were so close. 2005 to 2009.
Oh, I'll take that. You know what? That's 3 out of 4 years correct. I'm having it.
I mean, yeah, you were just off by 1 on both sides, essentially.
So I got 3 out of 4. That's a good score. She was on something called Mum, apparently, according to this article. I don't know what that is, when it aired, or anything. But she's going to be on a new comedy on CBS, which she's going to be co-executive producing, as well as starring. It's a multi-camera comedy. It's called The Porch, based on an idea by Presley, written by Susan McMartin, who's co-executive producing, from a story by her and Presley. It centers on a recently divorced LJ, that's her name, who returns home to small North Carolina. To the small North Carolina island she couldn't wait to leave to bury a mum she couldn't stand. She finds herself staying for longer than she ever imagined. How many sitcoms start with someone returning to their hometown? How many of them?
At least 40%.
Yeah. She reconnects with the porch folk that she never felt a part of, and starts falling in love for the first time with the train wreck of a mother who is no longer alive. So it's reconnecting to her roots and sort of maybe finally fitting into the scene that she always kind of hated as a kid.
Mm-hmm. That could be fine. She's obviously we obviously know her from a comedy. She's a strong comedic actress. So if the writing's there, I'm sure this could be good.
Yeah, I've never seen her as the kind of the straight man in the middle, because obviously in My Name Is Earl she was this very over the top character. I mean, everyone in that show kind of was.
I was going to say everyone was.
But Errol, even though he was wacky by other show standards, he was very much the straight man of that show compared to everyone else.
Or Crabman.
Crabman. Crabman was quirky though.
He was quirky, but he was low key compared to the rest of them.
It was Thor. So easy. Just set them up and knock them at the park. Next up, Showtime's ordered a comedy called The Wood.
Singular.
Singular, yes, The Wood.
Okay.
Like you see some floorboards, and you go, "What's that made of?" And you go, "The wood."
It's terrible. That's just terrible.
Showtime's got a pilot order to The Wood based on a 1999 feature film. So there may even be a movie with this title already. From Justin Hellion from The Shy and Snowfall, and Rick Famuyiwa, if I'm saying that correctly, from The Shy and Dope. Dope's that FX show that was debuted a couple of years ago. It's coming for Paramount Television Studios, who are behind it, and Showtime's the network it's going to air on. So,
is Dope not a movie? Did they make a TV show of it as well?
Oh no, sorry, I mixed things up. Snowfall, that the other guy was credited for, was the FX TV show. Yes, you're right. Dope was the movie with the teenagers.
It's pretty good.
No, that's a pretty good movie. Do you know what? I had it in my head from the previous guy, and then just kind of swapped them. Yeah, Snowfall was the FX show.
Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah. Famuyiwa, who directed the film, is going to direct the pilot and executive produce, with Hellion, who's going to write the script. The Wood is an honest look at friendship and dating from the perspective of 3 young black males born and raised in the gentrifying LA suburb of Inglewood. Hence, The Wood. Probably the nickname.
Context.
Although fondly referred to by locals as the City of Champions, so this place has got a few nicknames. I have to admit, I do think The Wood's a better title than City of Champions, because City of Champions makes you think it's going to be a sports thing.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But The Wood, I don't know. It doesn't give me much to go on. City of Champions, it's got an appeal to it, I think, more as a title, for me at least.
Okay.
Although I can see why you'd think maybe a sports thing from it.
The trio struggles to balance fatherhood, ambition, and loyalty, force them to question if they're growing apart or closer together, with a knowing nod back to the characters of the 1999 film. So it's going to be loosely kind of a sequel set in the same world, sort of thing. Which is based, this romantic comedy showcases the humor and heart of young black men and women trying to navigate love, life, and likes on the gram. The gram, I don't know what that means. The gram.
What? Do you actually know? I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not.
I don't know.
That's the Instagram.
What the hell's Instagram got to do with this?
Getting likes on Instagram. That's what they say. That's just, you know.
Oh, and likes on the. Okay, I hate that ending. I hate the ending of that description.
Such an old man.
No, I mean, Instagram. If you just said to me, "What do you think the gram is short for?" Instagram would probably be the first guess I'd have for it, but I didn't understand it in the context of the sentence. I do now, but
yeah,
but I didn't understand.
It's a perfectly finely constructed sentence, as much as I dislike it. But I mean, I think, one, grateful that the gram is not a professional statement there.
Mm-hmm.
I still well within the remit of personal, so I do not have to drink for that. And
unless William's an influencer.
Nah, but it doesn't say that. So yeah, I mean, that's not enough to go on from this.
I felt a little disgusted.
I'll retroactively drink in a year or two's time when this comes out, if they are.
I felt a little disgusted just saying the word influencer.
Yeah, you should.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it doesn't really sound like that sort of thing, does it? Rom-com TV show.
Nah. I mean, coming from, the guy behind Dope, it does make me wonder if this is kind of the more middle-aged version of Dope in a lot of ways. Because that was 3 teenagers, the coming of age kind of vibe, and this is kind of the more, they've got kids, they're older, it's kind of exploring a different chapter.
I can see that.
I don't know. It's kind of an interesting vibe. But yeah, probably not something we're going to gravitate towards. Next up, Amazon has put into development a show called Infinite Thread, which is described as a series that blends true crime and science fiction. It's like, true crime, I think I'm out. Science fiction, you pull me back in.
This is something Tynan, who's a comic book writer, has been pushing in his new content that is going to be, he's kind of coining the genre as a true weird to go along with true crime. It's the idea of, like, UFO stories and things like that. Okay, so I wonder, maybe this is kind of falling under that umbrella almost.
I mean, you could just call that paranormal. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to have a new name.
No, but in the same style as true crime.
Okay. Well, this is coming from Ramsey Brothers, who worked on Into the Dark, Kingdom creator Brian Belasco, and Justin Lin with his Perfect Storm Entertainment. This is Amazon that's working on this. Infinite Thread began as a spec script written by Julius and Alston Ramsey, who also serve as co-showrunners alongside Belasco. In it, a pair of twins are abducted, and a determined sheriff deputy embarks on a quest into the unknown that will alter the course of human history. Infinite Thread blends true crime and science fiction in its depiction of one man's epic investigation into a crime that breaks the boundaries of time and space.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll try this.
Yeah, it sounds kind of intriguing. Yeah,
I'll try.
I can see that having quite the sense of style to it.
Yeah, there's also a lot of tones you could go with this. I could see this being slightly quirky and have a light-hearted spin. I could see it being ultra serious and feel like you're watching like Zodiac as someone's trying to uncover where they went.
I'm picturing kind of the Midnight Sun, Midnight Sky.
Midnight Sky, yeah, with what's your face, Zod.
Shannon,
yeah, Michael Shannon.
Yeah, like that kind of somber but weird tone that has for a lot of that movie.
Hey, that's best case scenario. I love that tone. If a TV
I
show...
do as well, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for and projecting onto that description.
If a TV show can sort of reliably make that for 8-10 episodes, whatever it's going to end up being, then I'm on board and I'm interested.
Mm.
So no, that's a neat one. And then that'll take us on to our final story of the episode, which is Apple TV Plus have given a series order to a show called The Changeling, a drama based on Victor LaValle's best-selling book of the same name. And they've got Lakeith Stanfield cast in the lead role, which is obviously
Apple throwing their money around again.
Yeah, it's a big yeah. They also have Kelly Marcel from Cruella and Venom. So that's cool stuff. Sorry, that Kelly Marcel is not in it. Not an actor. That's the writer and showrunner.
Right. Okay.
Who worked in Cruella and Venom. This is a weird combo, actually. It made more sense when I thought it was an actor.
Yeah. Although that has me intrigued already, I have to admit.
I don't know. I've lost interest. Venom was absolute trash.
Oh no, it was amazing.
Venom was trash. I'm not having it. So, The Changeling from Annapurna and Apple Studios is a fairy tale for grown-ups. A horror story, a parenthood fable, and a perilous odyssey through New York City you didn't know existed.
I'm assuming this is roughly based on the folklore of changelings, then.
If it's saying, if it's saying fairy tale, I assume it's maybe got a bit of that. In Lavelle's book, when Apollo, the role that Stanfield will be playing, and Emma have their baby Brian, it feels like both are a reward and a challenge for the new dad. Apollo, the son of a single mother, had been scraping by as a bookseller who hunts estate and garage sales. Well, garage, but in it for the foreigners.
Healthy pronunciation.
Do you know what it is? It's because it's garage sale. A garage sale is not a thing here. So
no, it's I reckon we'd have a car boot sale.
Car boot sale, yes. So there's certain phrases when you put the word together that my mind will just go to the American version because
it's the only way you ever hear that.
Yeah, you don't hear garage sale, you hear garage sale. So, but yes, so he looks for first editions, things like that. So even the unusual circumstances of Brian's birth on a stalled subway train, seems like a big scene, seems like a blessing, as does the way Apollo stumbles across the first edition of To Kill a Mockingbird, inscribed by Harper Lee to Truman Capote, no less, shortly thereafter. But after some young parent squabbles and inexplicable images on their smartphones foreshadow trouble, the story turns nightmarish. It's a very vague setup.
Is that all of it?
That's all of it, yeah.
Okay. That's interesting because the traditional folklore version of changelings, which this could still lean into, is the idea of like goblins and stuff stealing human babies and replacing them with their own. But they change shape to look like humans, obviously, and they grow up in that society, and whatever they do with the human kid is changes on story to story. But this could still play with that based off of what that has there.
I mean, they've got a new kid born. Like they're being suspicious of each other. There's activity. Like all the ingredients are there for it to be a changeling story, and it is called that. So
yeah,
I mean. I'm definitely more interested in that last one, the sci-fi alien abduction show on Amazon, but I'm not against this one, and we'll see. It's got a big actor. I mean, that's the big get they've got, is they've got someone who's really a rising star who's been in some big stuff in the last few years,
and he's very good.
And he is. So there you go. That is your TV news for the week, and. Now, admittedly, the last one was like 3 to 4 weeks ago, so I could have kept going and found even more old stuff, but that seemed a bit excessive.
Stuff gets missed.
And it also would have taken forever to find all. So, you get a shorter episode, but we are about to do a movie news as well, so if you want to head over to Mail Fuzz Movies sometime after this goes up on the TV channel, and do that too.
The only thing I can think of that you didn't mention is we got a date for Netflix's Cowboy Bebop. I don't know off the top of my head. I believe it's November. But they released like the first images of the couple of pictures of the cast, promo stills. I assume there's a trailer coming soon, and we'll talk about that when that drops.
I've got a funny feeling I know what I'm going to say.
somewhere along the lines of anime trash.
That phrase may make an appearance, yes.
I'm genuinely so excited. Like, it will probably not live up to the original, but I need to see it.
I don't know, the bar's pretty low.
Have you even watched more than like 90 seconds of it? Have you even watched 90 seconds of it?
No, but it's an anime. I don't have to. The bar's low. Anime equals bar in the dark.
It transcends genre. Or in this case, medium. Maybe. I don't know. Whichever one you want to classify it.
It transcends the toilet seat.
It's transcendent.
That wasn't a very good movie, though, so it's...
God damn it.
It wasn't that good. Poor Wally Pfister left Christopher Nolan to try and make his own movie, and it just didn't happen. Well. It didn't work. A shame. I suppose one thing to mention here at the end, not so much for the American audience that we have or anything like that, but Sean Locke did pass away last week, and that was a bit of a gut punch, honestly.
Yeah. No one knew he was ill. He'd been battling cancer for, I think, a couple of years, it sounded like.
Well, I think people knew he was ill at one point because it sounded like he got better for a while, because he had a really bad voice. Like, there was a period in time on shows where he did sound kind of rough, but then he got better again, and he sounded fine.
Yeah.
So if everyone doesn't know, Sean Locke was a comedian, and he spent a lot of time on panel shows in the UK, which are all a bit different from ones you get in the US, so you may not have a direct equivalent, but he was on 2 or 3 of the more popular and successful ones, and he was always a highlight on them. So it was a bit of a gut punch when I saw this last week.
If anyone hasn't seen it and just wants a 5-minute reason as to why,
I know what you're going to recommend.
It's Carrot in a Box.
Yes,
it's a classic. That is, watching that live on TV at the time was one of those. This was gold that you've just watched, and kind of everyone knew it.
What's funny is that I watched a lot of the stuff that he would be on, but I kind of fell away from watching broadcast TV for a long time. So I actually have like years of potential Sean Locke stuff to watch if I want to go dig for it.
Have you watched like any of the 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown stuff?
I saw like the first 2 specials they did, but I know they've done tons of them since.
There's like 18 seasons.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. There's like 18 or 20 seasons.
I don't know how.
There's a lot.
I don't know how easy it is to access that, because I don't know if they put it out.
I believe
like a TV show.
Of it's on 4OD, all 4, whatever that's called now.
It's supposed to put on there.
The 4 iPlayer one.
Okay, I'll have to make an account and see if it's all there. Yeah. And if not, life will find a way. I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet.
I mean, Channel 4's YouTube page puts up a lot of compilation videos.
But I want full episodes though.
You do want full episodes.
I want the full things, because yes. But yeah, Sean Locke was a special comedian, and he was always a highlight in everything he was in. So I wanted to give a bit of a shout out here. So there you go. Ended a sad note, but there it is. So that is the TV news. You can like and subscribe and ding the bell for notifications if you would like to. All those things do help YouTube channels a lot. You can also, of course, go over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV and support us for as little as $1 per month and get some bonuses for your trouble. But help keep all the content coming that way. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?